Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Ermenkov. I'm a ruling reality coach. And today, on the 30th of August, 2023, I would like to continue my series, Daily Reality with Alex. During 2023, I'm presenting different topics that are helping me to rule my reality and also are helping me to be successful. During this period of 2023, I have the different topics that are determining the way I'm moving to reality and the way I am really experiencing and impacting my own personal reality, and also the way I'm impacting others people's life in this way. And I would like to speak today about the reality Canva, or the so-called outward reality. Everything that is outside that we are perceiving with the five senses, from where we are receiving our data stream, is becoming very important for us, because through what we are perceiving with the five data senses, we are actually creating our own experiences. We are observational beings and we need something to constantly observe. And that's why our reality Canva is important. Our reality surrounding is important. And also it is very interesting to learn how to influence it, how to observe it, how to change it long term, but also to know that this is not the purpose of life. Because if the purpose of life and the purpose of us being here in this experience is only to have a better Canva, only to have a better five data senses feed, so that we can experience our own preferences of feelings, if we think the choice is only to change our surrounding, to change our ecosystem around us, and this is what we are investing all our energy into it, we are going to learn long term that we are investing into something that is not the important part of our reality. For me personally, I'm long-term trying to not be attached to everything that is around me, and in the same time, I'm strongly involved into building up an ecosystem that is supporting my authentic expression of who I am. Because it is very easy just through the conformity to be in the same type of outside surrounding as everybody else, because this is the most accepted part. So, for example, if all of us are desiring to have cars or to have nice cars and so on, and all of us are trying to surround with this type of environment around us, then if I decide to have only bicycle, or to be a person that is not owning any vehicles, I'm going to look a little bit strange compared to other human beings. But basically, it's up to every one of us to decide what is going to be our own surrounding, and long term, we are to focus towards being surrounded with things that we like to experience, with objects that we are enjoying. And of course, that's why we have been brought in this experience, first of all, to be surrounded with nature. The more we are surrounded with nature, the more we are surrounded with beauty, and the more we are surrounded with what is close to our essence. And the more all of us are surrounding and chasing after objects, chasing after cars, chasing after houses, chasing after so many artificial type of surroundings that we want to be surrounded with, then what we are doing constantly, we are creating a specific type of Canva, a specific type of background behind all of us, and we are just saying, well, see me, because of what is behind me, I'm now very important, or now I'm very successful, because see what is behind me, see my Canva. And basically, we start to compete with each other about who have a better Canva, who have a better surrounding, who have an ecosystem that we think that the other human beings are going to appreciate. And meanwhile, since we are the generators of reality, what is actually important and what is the actual valuable thing about each one of us is who we are. That's why instead of trying to change the world, instead of trying to chase changing the outer reality, which in the moment I'm calling the Canva, it is much more better we to interact with it, but with another purpose, not in order to create the perfect life, not in order to create the wonderful and the utopian outside Canva experience or environment that is going to give us the experience that we think that we need. Because basically, based on our inner experience, all this time of external environment basically doesn't matter. The only thing we are to do here while we are daily opening towards what is surrounding us is to be more and more able to express who we actually are. And the ecosystem around us can or suppress who we are, or can really encourage us to blossom, encourage us through creating different pockets of success into the reality to be able to explode more of our potential into different areas of reality. And that's why, for me personally, how we are managing our Canva and what is our attitude towards the feed that is giving us later on the experience is important correlation. Anyhow, none of us can detach ourselves from the outer experience, but all of us can influence what type of surrounding we are long-term willing to be surrounded with, and what type of influence and interaction we are going to have towards the outer reality. And that's why the most easy way to look at your surrounding, for me to look at my outer surrounding, is to accept everything as it is in the moment. Because if we are ignoring the reality around us, if we are trying forcefully all the time to change it, if we are struggling, if we are surviving, or if we're just complaining about the Canva behind us, we are basically saying that this is the important part of life. And in reality, the important part of our experience here is who we are and what is our relationship with everything that is supporting us. Basically, we as human beings are here in this experience in order to be able to live and to explore and to enter into relationship with our above creators. then there are different theories about if we are only one body or if we need to open ourselves towards our etherical and astral bodies and to have a much more enriched experience so that we are able, through the vehicles of the bodies, to enter into much more experiences and impactfulness with reality than only what the five senses is and are giving to us. And this is why it is important to not look only after the visible material surrounding around us, but to know, to have, and to develop a relationship with the unknown, where we are using other parts of this vehicle that we are ruling constantly, we call the body. Because the body is not only the material experiences that we are able to, so to say, perceive through the five senses, but also there are others additional extrasensory perceptions that are giving us the ability to enter into much more deeper experiences about reality. But since all these other explorational experiences are not so easy to be explained, are not so easy to be defined, and basically, if we are only materially focused, even if we are tapping into the unknown, we are willing to manipulate whatever is out there in order to be able to have a better Canva, to be able to have a better physical matter experience, to be able to have the feelings, the energetical type of experience of everything that don't need to be experienced. So it's a little bit paradox. If we are chasing after experiences, if we are chasing after different type of stimulations, we are still into the material experience. Once we enter above the material and outside the material, then the experience is not based on movement, it's not based on energy, it's not based on space, it's not based on everything that we are usually used to computate, are used to perceive, are used to analyze. But Alex, how is it possible to analyze and to perceive and to try to connect with what is not so easy to be observed, is not so easy to be defined? Well, we are actually doing it through an intermediary of our outside environment. So instead of just trying to be us in our outside material environment, once we learn that we are to also open ourselves to the other realms of existence, then we understand that the outside surrounding of the reality is actually helping us to develop a relationship with what is in the beyond. For example, me as a Christian person that is long-term dedicated to develop my relationship with the Creator and with my Savior, I am using daily my reality, I'm using daily my situations, but not in order to create a much more better reality, to create a different type of existence, which is showing more about how important I am, or more things about me. What I'm interested about into this physical matter reality experiences, how through my potential, through my possibilities, through my expressions, to be able to express more of the divine, more of what is beyond, and to be able to translate it into the expressions of the physical matter reality. And in this way, I'm able to create a communicational type of experience where I understand and am building a relationship type of connection. So our environment, for example, when we are strongly involved into building our environment only for ourselves, we are losing the point of why we have this outer reality. Because the outer reality is like the intermediate type of etherical, but also material type and of existence through which we are able to communicate with the unknown and with our creators and with the type of beings that are able to lead us and to help us to develop this type of relationships. Of course, there are different types of deviations. Of course, it is very not hard, but it is not common for the human beings to think that this part of reality is important. Basically, we want success fast, we want to immediately change our environment, our surrounding, our Canva, and so on. We want to be above everybody else. We want to surround ourselves with success, and we just want then to think that we are the happy type of beings. But basically, once we understand that the Canva that is around us is not the important part of reality, even all our experiences that we are constantly trying to manipulate or to influence or to arrange are not the important part. The important part of reality is to learn how to communicate, how to align, and how to be able to transmit and to translate more of what is in the beyond from the unknown into the known. And well, some of you can say, well, Alex, but what is the purpose for all of us just to translate? And what is the purpose for all of us just to channel if we are willing to understand the unknown, how to make the unknown known, and how it is actually possible to communicate with what is not created, to communicate directly with us the way we are created to communicate between each other. Anyhow, while we are communicating, we are using the codings of the wordings and all these type of perceptions that have already used between us, and we are decoding with images and so on our communication. But when we learn to use our surrounding, our Canva, our experiences for communicating with the unknown and for understanding the reality and for understanding how we are here in this environment to also show and to also expose the unknown and to be able to show for all of us what is possible. And for me, this is a very important and interesting part about reality. And that's why, for example, when I'm moving into creating different interesting things into my surrounding, into my ecosystem, into my Canva, I'm not only doing it in order just to have a new, different Canva, but I'm willing to express and I'm willing to understand through the processes, the communication that is going between me, which basically am spending more than 70 to 80% into the known, with the unknown, so that I start little by little to disbalance and to learn how to dwell more and how to communicate more with the unknown through the expression of the material and the known. So in a sense, it's a little bit of a paradox, but it is an important part of the way reality is working. And this is why, for me personally, to have our daily reality and experience with all these 5 data sense material feed that we are having daily, it's very interesting and very educating, and long term, it is always going to lead us towards knowing the unknown. Because a lot of us are thinking that if we are able to control everything in reality, then we are going to create the perfect reality for us. But the idea is that, let's just imagine for a moment that we have created the perfect reality around us, and we have the perfect Canva, and we can fix everything the way we want. Still, we are going to miss the main point, because the main point is to start educating ourselves and to start exploring the unknown and to start knowing our creator. And it is not possible to know without having the experience with the unknown, without trusting and receiving help and asking for intervention from the non-material into the material. And this is what a lot of human beings are usually dreaming about and are wishing about, to have in their own personal reality miracles, to have some type of a divine interventions that are not possible for human beings to create. And if you ask the science and the way the science is developing, we are to close these doors. We are not to use this type of windows and to try to bring a relationship between the unknown and the known, to create a relationship between the material and non-material, where it is possible the divine and the human to imprint and to impact together. We prefer to try as human beings to mold and to bend reality if it's necessary, but to do it alone. We don't want to be in connection with the above, or if we are to be in connection with the above, we want to be the controlling part, because we think that the above is to help us, but we are not willing to subdue. We are not willing to bend down, and we are not willing to say that we need the above in order to create a fulfilling and powerful and mighty and beautiful and sustaining experience here. We think that from the moment we are born, it's up to us to survive alone. It is up to us to do it. It is we here which are to think it out with our mind, and then we are using our mind to collapse the wave. We are trying to do all type of techniques, but the problem is that if we don't learn and educate ourselves to know the unknown and to start communicating with the beings that are into the beyond, but then we are to learn how to separate the different type of entities and also how to have a direct connection to the source. And these are hard things for all of us to mentor. They're hard for all of us to learn and to be skillful at. But for me personally, this is much more interesting and much more desiring thing to do than just to try to manage my own Canva and reality alone. I prefer to work with partners. I prefer to work in partnership with the unknown when I'm expressing myself into the material. And this is why I encourage everyone that is willing to learn how to rule its own personal reality to understand that it is not possible to do it only on the plane of the material existence. And then, of course, some of you can say, Alice, but it is very hard to go deep into the unknown, and we are not willing to do it. And only if we know that there are experienced beings that are very well educated, and in the past we call them priests, but we know that maybe they have abused us in the past. So do we need intermediary? And how are we going to do it? And so on and so on. And we can find millions reasons not to go outside of our logic, not to go outside of our mind, and not to be willing to tap into the unknown. And anyhow, in reality, 99.9% of everything that exists is the unknown. So if we want to create a much more wonderful experiences for all of us, we are to open ourselves towards the unknown. But of course, there are a lot of things that we are all constantly in necessity to learn, to be willing to obtain. But for me personally, it is very important to focus on the center, to focus directly upon the creator. And of course, then we have a lot of layers of different type of knowledges that are able to some extent to show a small compartmentalization and so parts, small parts, and so on and so on. But I encourage every one of us to basically do it alone and to basically try to explore and to take responsibility for its own personal reality and its own personal relationship with the unknown, because only then we are not to blame anybody else, any type of intermediary, that they are the one that have led us astray or misled us or abused us or whatever type of thinking we are willing to create for ourselves. Yes, this is maybe the most hard part of the reality, where we are to opening to everything that is beyond the so-called reality Canva, but then we are using only in the right way the Canva. Because from one side of the Canva, we are imprinting and putting our wills, emotions, energy, but also from the other side, from the unknown, it is always answered to us back, or always supported, or always restrictions are coming, and we are to daily read what is happening with our feed of reality. And this is what I wanted to speak about today, and I was willing to share it because for me, this is a very important part of how I'm personally observing reality and what I'm after through the way I'm building my ecosystems, through the way I'm creating my backgrounds and Canva in which I'm existing here in this material experience. And the most interesting and the most desiring thing for me is to know the unknown, to create a relationship with everything that looks like that it is impossible to create relationship with. I'm strongly going after everything that more of the logical human beings are saying that it is a taboo, and that these are the zones of the unknown. They are the dangerous zones, and we are not to enter them, because only if we stay in the safe zones of the material experience only, then we are able to manage and to coordinate our reality. But if we want to really position ourselves as rulers of our reality, we are to understand how to approach the above, how to create a relationship between us and the above. So thank you for watching. Enjoy your reality. And for sure, everything is complex. Everything is not so easy to be explained, but this doesn't mean that we are not created to live in an environment where things are unexplainable, where things are to be explored, where we are to move through intuition and not through knowledge, where logic is not able to work, but we are still in a position to open ourselves towards the deepness of our own personal reality Canva, and to start to communicate with the behind the scene. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your reality and be eager to explore more of what is possible. Bye-bye.